Esports tour in Seoul, South Korea, as we continue to crown a champion. Welcome to the semifinals, everybody. 250 plus competitors, over 50 countries represented, over $500,000 on the line, and only 4 players remain. Who is going to grab that epic trophy that sits on the stage that lights up all menacingly in a nice hue of purple? My name is Frode, and I'm joined by Brian Kibler, and we're going to bring you the first of 2 semifinals. Then G and Derek will be stepping on stage, and now that we said it, it's going to happen because we can't take it back.
No takebacks. No takebacks at all.
Originally, Brian was slotted to cast 3 in a row, and we're like, you know what? We love Kibler on the desk, but Kibler graciously said, you know what? Let's get G and Derek some camera time. Very, very generous of you.
I mean, I would love to cast all these matches, but I'd also love to, be able to go to the bathroom between a few of them. These are best of 5 from here on out.
That's
we
right.
have best of 5 single elimination for the rest of the way. So, these players will be really put to the test from here on out.
All right, so coming up next, we have 2 players. We're going to check back in on the left side of the bracket, where we started at the beginning of the day with Liz from China going up against Zim. And I do think that Liz does have a lot of expectations on her shoulders. First of all, when it comes to singles competition or 1v1, China hasn't ever really gotten that big W on the international stage, let alone a huge venue and a huge competition like this. The second is that he's also the lone hunter remaining in the top 4 here, and I think a lot of expectation goes on his shoulders for that.
Also the lone non-Frenchman.
Yes, that's true.
The breakdown of the top 4 is not only, there's only a single player from China, there's 3 players from Europe, all 3 players from France. So, it is a pretty remarkable result for France as a country coming into this. And we do see those 3 players there. It is Zim, Felkeine, and Magoho, who will be aiming to take down the trophy for France, while List remains the single person standing in their way.
Yes, so List the Hunter, Zim the Mage, Felkeine the Mage, and Magoho the Warrior, which, it does make a lot of sense. We only had 2 mages in the top 8, but when the groups were paired off, we did look at the Group B and said, you know what, the 2 mages look pretty well positioned, given that it's a rogue that's weak against mage, and it's a warrior that's weak against mage. And so that made a lot of sense to me. Liz, I think, is one of the surprises of the event. But when you think about it and you just look at the performance of Highlander decks at this tournament, is it really that surprising to see 100 in the top 4?
Not at all. If you actually looked at the way that the overall records broke down, the overall statistics broke down, Highlander Hunter or Hunter in general, was one of the top performing classes overall. It actually looks like we're going to be on the other side of the bracket to start things off. We actually have Felkeine versus Magoho.
I apologize.
Over here. So This will be Mage versus Warrior. Felkeine playing that Highlander Mage, the Reno Mage, in fact, and it will be Magoho playing sort of hybrid between Bomb and Control Warrior.
Yeah. Felkeine, a mainstay in competitive Hearthstone in Europe, has made playoffs a handful of times, has gone through the ringer in Vegas. So it's no surprise that he's able to finally get a good breakup performance when things fall his way. Magoho, on the other hand, a little bit less experience. And I gotta say that it shows a little bit. I think Magoho's been a little bit more unsettled on camera whenever you see him make a mistake or you see something go his way. Very expressive, which is fun, but also you can see a little bit of a lack of composure there. He
has been a little bit shaky. There have been some moments. There was a turn where he just roped out and didn't take the swing with the Super Collider to clear the board. Seems to perhaps have the stage time. And just look at his expressions, right? He seems to be a little bit uncomfortable even just sitting there. I know that coming into this match, I actually had a chance to overhear him talking backstage. He was saying, I think I can win game 1, but in best of 5, we're playing a number more games against the secondary decks, and that's where he thinks he's really going to struggle.
Yes, the Mage versus the Warrior is not pretty. We look at the statistics. A 64% edge for Mage across the entire field. That accounts for all archetypes. We don't have the exact breakdown of specifically their archetypes. However, we're going to find out if Magoho can make magic or Felkeine fulfill his destiny. Let's go to game number 1 here, semifinal number 1. As we start with Magoho with the pair of booms, and I think that's exactly what he needs to get if he's going to turn this series in his favor. Yeah,
this is a lot of what Magoho's looking for here. 2 of the most powerful cards in his deck. He can even coin boom into the other boom, which is very, very powerful.
Yes.
Does find his single copy of Town Crier on turn 1 here, so a nice pickup for him. Getting that Restless Mummy to give him some removal options. So right now he's mostly looking for bomb cards because he does want to set up that Blastmaster boom with as many boom bots as possible.
Yes, Clockwork Goblin, very important there.
Felkeine's opening hand here is in fact fairly weak. He doesn't really have any of the really key cards. No card draw, no Pocket Galaxy. Most of what he has are sort of the slower options. Does find the Giant, but Magoho does have that big game hunter already waiting.
2 Clockwork.
There we go. Goblin
That's
number
big.
1, Goblin number 2.
Yeah, the difference between having 2 and 4 and 6 boombots, the 4 to 6 boombots is not nearly as important as 2 to 4, given that you're doubling your boombots versus just adding 50% extra more. So being able to go for that big spike is surprisingly a world of difference.
And right here, Felkeine, man, wow. The Wrench Caliber off the top really is going to set up that Blastmaster boom. But we see the polymorph just coming out from Felkeine here. He decides he really needs to use his mana and doesn't want that Clockwork Goblin to really be clocking him quickly.
Yes, he understands that this matchup is a matchup where Warrior's actually an aggro deck.
Yes.
It's not necessarily a slow defensive control deck that we're used to seeing the Warrior, and that's why this Acidic Swampu is important, but there's still 3 bombs that are going to be shuffled in the deck if nothing is drawn. And next turn, Magoho can go for the coin Blastmaster Boom and almost potentially end the game from right there.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and get another bomb in there. So yeah, 3 bombs in the deck.
Yeah.
If this board does get cleared off, yeah, it does have just full room to fill it back up again with boombots.
Yeah, if he plays the Mountain Giant, does get ahead of the Blastmaster Boom.
One of the big things against Warrior that you often want to do is try to make it as awkward as possible for them to play one of their big 7-drops. You want to make your board as powerful as you can going into their turn where they can play either Dr. Boom, Mad Genius, or Blastmaster Boom, simply because you want to punish them for playing something that isn't removal. So many of the cards in their deck are just going to be kill your thing, kill your thing. Those are their big opportunity to sort of take a proactive stance, and you want to punish them for that.
That's right. So playing the Mountain Giant allows you to trade into the 7/7 at the very least. Magoho actually, with this 1/1, does have the opportunity to bump into the 8/8 preemptively and then play Blastmaster Boom, which makes it difficult for Magoho to use Conjurer's Calling, which is fairly relevant.
There's also just the opportunity, he could just play Big Game Hunter here, right? If he's decides that he's afraid of the possibility of Conjurer's Calling, he can just clear this off right away rather than taking the coin play.
Okay, but he still could do that next turn as well.
That's true.
I mean, Felkeine does not have the Khadgar in his primary deck list. If this was a second to 5th game, I would probably say you should heavily consider that in case they have the Khadgar. Yes, I like this play from Magoho. He understands the game plan of Bomb Warrior, and while Big Game Hunter is great, you can still do it the following turn if they have Conjurer's Calling. Get those boombots online.
And now this is a pretty scary board for Felkeine here. Yeah, you see a little bit of a shrug and now head and hands.
Yeah, just having that 1 extra health in the Mountain Giant does make a pretty big difference. It can absorb 4 life, and it shut off the possibility of Conjurer's Calling. Felkeine does have this Frost Nova, which is certainly an interesting proposition, but he doesn't have enough plays to follow up that 4 mana remaining. And the prospect of using Doomsayer on a board like this means that he's willing to accept at least 6 damage to the face. This is a scary moment here for Felkeine, to say the least.
All right, well, does have the freeze plus Doomsayer here, and thanks to the full board, Magoho can't even get something down to ping that off. He does have Warpath, though. So Warpath can kill a bunch of his own boombots, set up the either the Restless Mummy or Execute. Does decide, all right, I'm just gonna use the 7 mana though. I'm not gonna protect this at all. I'm gonna get Dr. Boom, Mad Genius down. And
this
then,
could be lethal.
Yeah, this is just boom, 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 boom.
Woo! 15 damage.
And there's 3 bombs in the deck. He's at 9 with 3 bombs in his deck.
You could discover a copy of the bomb. Not that it would work,
let's
but
not do that.
Yeah, that's just funny how that works. Big Game Hunter does have a prime target here. No Shield Slam to follow it up.
That was an excellent follow-up for Felkeine though after that board clear here. It does end up with a big board presence of his own. Getting the Conjurer's Calling not only made that board presence even bigger, but gives him that additional copy of the Calling in hand. And he has Alexstrasza, so if he really needs to, he decides, I'm really afraid of those bombs in my deck, he can make it so they have to draw every single one of them if he wants to Alexstrasza himself. He can also go on the offensive. Point the Alexstrasza at Magoho's face. That's probably a bit less attractive considering that Blast Shield just popped up as a hero power, though.
Right. So I like Felkeine's line of Doomsayer to set up the heavy cost at hand. Remember, he doesn't have Pocket Galaxy, so he has to make do with all the expensive full retail cost that he has to pay to play. And, you know, he does have other pinch scenarios. What if he plays Cartoon Defender and Conjurer's Calling to heal before the Alexstrasza? I like the flexibility of the hand, which I think is ultimately very crucial for Felkeine's success.
Yeah, and now, you know, Felkeine does have the ability to take this value trade, use the Conjurer's Calling. Finds a magic trick as well. He is getting to the point where, you know, Magoho will have access to Mega Devastator. There's only one copy in his deck. So, you know, there is no possibility of just the truly crazy, removal turns with the rushing multiple Devastators. So if Felkeine does get a large board, it's a little bit more difficult for Magoho to deal with.
Yeah, I like the Conjurer's Calling this turn. I don't mind it on either minion.
I was going to say, there's actually an interesting argument that, you know, maybe you just go face with this and Conjurer's Calling your Cartoon Defender. The problem is there's a Kaboom, Hero Power 2, so you are essentially giving up the Reborn body.
I think I can make a justification either way. Your opponent's at 39, so it's not like you're going to rush them to like a 2-turn or even a 3-turn lethal.
Right.
So if you take it slower and train to the 4-2, you can go ahead and heal. And if the game is going longer, you need to have more life. That is not good.
Those are both pretty poor. Those are unfortunate results here. And,
Some of the weakest.
And that Super Collider, the Magoho can attack into the Cartoon Defender, use the Kaboom Hero Power, and then Super Collider these together and clear the board.
Yeah, or just Spellbreaker.
Also an option if he just wants the Spellbreaker. You know, you can Spellbreaker, and that also denies the healing. And Felkeine's at 9.
Yep, and with 3 bombs in, there's a chance for Magoho to win.
Spellbreaker, go face, Super Collide the big ones together.
Right.
That actually puts him at bomb lethal. Yeah, that's what he's going for.
Yes,
Shaking the head for Felkeine. And I think this is one of the things that Felkeine was considering with the Conjurer's Calling as it is.
Yes. I like this Restless Mummy play. I don't think that 1 damage is the difference maker in this position versus killing off that 6-3 and be important.
He could have played the Super Collider here, right? And killed both of the large minions. And now the Restless Mummy doesn't really have a good second attack.
Actually, you're right. You're right. I like the Super Collider
yeah,
a lot more.
I'm a little confused by this choice by Magoho here because he could have gotten everything big off the board, and now...
Oh!
And Magoho is rewarded for his aggressive stance there.
Yes.
And we see the big difference, right? We just saw Dead Draw really struggle with his Control Warrior deck against the Mage from Zim. You know, he was just not able to actually deal with all of the big minions, all the big pushes, but the bombs, the aggression that Magoho's build is capable of is what ended up deciding this game.
Yep. You know, it was like a 15 to 60% chance to win, like right on that spot.
Yep.
I think it was 3 out of 19, so around there. Pretty small, but at the same time, that's what you play for, and that's the risk that Mage goes through when they accept too much damage, which is why Felkeine said polymorph to 3-3 while trying to be defensive. However, at the very last second, he decided to not be defensive. He decided to be offensive, and that cost him.
Yeah, both players made some decisions in those final turns that I think were a little bit questionable. I feel like getting the value trade and then Conjurer's Calling compared to getting the 7 damage in felt like it was safer. You know, he would have been able to remove that, and then you know the Super Collider versus the Restless Mummy decision from Magoho there was something that you know I thought was a little suspect considering how he used the Mummy. But you know, worth noting, this is got to be the biggest match either of these players have played in their entire lives.
Career.
So it is very clear that the nerves can be making a big factor.
I think so. And I'm going to attribute that every time I see them squirm in their chair just a little bit more than they should be. But that's just game number 1. It's a best of 5. And like you mentioned, Magoho said he felt confident in the first game, but going into games 2 to 5, what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty rough for him because Felkeine is able to remove a lot of the lower impact cards in his deck. He takes out things like Doomsayer, Frost Nova, Blizzard, Flame Strike, Puzzle Box, the reactive cards that are good when he falls behind, and is able to make his deck even more proactive with more difficult to deal with threats. He adds Khadgar, Barista, Harrison Jones, Cairn, and Astromancer. So we may still see the plan from game 1 that ended up working of Magoho being aggressive with the bombs. That will be his best option again, but it'll be difficult for him to ever take any kind of removal attack.
Wild Growth into the Pocket Galaxy
Wow.
is the nuts.
Yeah, so this is going to be a really powerful game for Felkeine here.
Oh, this is interesting. So at first I was thinking about just playing the Clockwork Goblin and then using the Snip Snap, but it makes sense given that the 3-2 Zephyrus challenges the Clockwork Goblin. Yeah.
So the Antonidas is a card that Felkeine is pretty sad to see before he Pocket Galaxies, because that's one of the best cards to reduce to 0 mana, or to 1 mana, effectively 0. Close enough.
For Magoho, I think I like the Omega Devastator in this position.
Sure, yeah, he wants to be as aggressive as possible. He is the beatdown here, and that's one of the things that's really important to recognize when you are playing Warrior. You have to be the aggressive deck in this matchup because you simply do not have enough removal in order to deal with everything that the Mage can bring to bear. Ooh, another big minion that Felkeine would love to have gotten reduced by this Pocket Galaxy.
Can you tell me what that trade was for from the Snip Snap, which felt like something that Magoho was gonna, or Felkeine was gonna do anyways?
I think that it's possible that he wanted to take that trade to maybe avoid losing his minion, his Snip Snap to some sort of removal effect. But yeah, I think I agree with you that he would have been better off just getting the 2 damage to the face.
And that
could have protected the Omega Devastator though.
Right.
If he decides that that's a crucial element of what's going on here. But
I think so, with the Frostbolt that's being a threat, for example.
Right. Yeah, but now, Felkeine, he's behind. And he immediately draws a big spell, not a minion, after casting Pocket Galaxy.
5 mana do nothing. Just taking out the most health effectively on the board.
He does have the Voodoo Doll in hand.
Oh, man.
But Wrench Caliber Double Clockwork Gnome, or Clockwork Goblin in hand.
This is starting to be scary.
For Magoho. And crucially, the look at Felkeine's expression. The plan that Felkeine is on is one that removes most of his mass removal. This is
my goodness!
This is just setting up lethal next turn. Felkeine's deck does not have Flame Strike, it does not have Blizzard, it does not have Frost Nova. And Magoho has the most aggressive possible draw with his deck. Just look, he's just like, what's even happening here?
What's happening is you're dead unless you coin out Power Creation into Damage Decatron or Sunwalker.
I mean, the Voodoo Doll coin ping Frostbolt, or rather, Voodoo Doll ping Frostbolt here, doesn't need a coin. Does put him in a situation where he's not dead, but he is in a lot of trouble.
A second
every
Wrench
mob
Caliber.
card, every single one.
I do find it a little bit delicious irony that the Mage player that had Zephyrus Wild Growth into Pocket Galaxy
he's the one who's like, I can't believe it.
How could he have the perfect hand? It's like, well, aggro decks do this. Magoho could have played Aggro Warrior and be doing the same exact thing.
No, not a bomb. He survives. He can coin out the Alexstrasza.
Yes.
Crucially,
that is huge.
Felkeine, his expression is so pained. Look at his face.
He's upset.
Absolutely.
And I get why he's upset.
Yeah. Another shake of the head.
Oh! Big time draw here for Magoho to shut down any counter offensive or even counter play. Like, Felkeine can't answer the board very easily right now. Yeah, I want to drop another minion here.
Yeah. Restless Mummy in attack mode.
You could have just said play Restless Mummy. I don't even know what's defensive mode for Restless Mummy.
That's killing your opponent's guys. This is a Restless Mummy who's like, I'm going to actually attack the face.
Yeah.
Felkeine, he draws. Finds a Tortolan Primalist.
I mean, he does have Power of Creation. Puzzle Box.
Puzzle Box is gone. Flame Strike's gone. Blizzard's gone. They're not in his
right.
deck.
Took him out. Okay.
That can only hit Conjurer's Calling AI, Magic Trick.
Double Ray of Frost is useful here.
All right. Trying to stay alive, keep it above water. Oh, Dr. Boom, mad genius.
I mean,
but is it even what he wants to do? Does he not just want to wrench caliber and just keep getting more bombs in the deck?
I do like that because wrench caliber takes 2 turns to resolve their attacks. And Dr. Boom, you might not get any hero power that affects it. You might be a turn behind because of it.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, a tough decision for Magoho here.
Yeah.
I lean toward wrench caliber because you attack your opponent down to 6, you put yet another bomb in the deck. 1 bomb explosion means your next wrench caliber swing ends the game. But Dr. Boom, it's Dr. Boom.
It's Dr. Boom.
And there's a lot of results for the hero power that are powerful. It is something that requires the investment of essentially an entire turn, whereas wrench caliber you can do alongside something else.
I think the average damage from the hero power from Dr. Boom is less than 1, right? Because there's 5 outcomes and you can get 4 damage, 3 from Zap and 1 from the Kaboom.
All right.
He gets the Zap! Magoho is a warrior god. I don't know how he's able to do this.
It's like he wrench calibered and played Dr. Boom the same turn.
No, come on. Tortolan Pilgrim. There's more bombs in his deck than spells that he could be useful in this situation. Power of Creation might be something, though, he can use.
The Pilgrim can only realistically hit Arcane Intellect, which can just kill him off a bomb.
Magic Trick, Magic Trick.
All right, Magic Trick gets him another Magic Trick, rebuys.
Okay. Maybe that's a Conjurer's Calling. Maybe it's a secret. Ice Barrier.
Ice Barrier.
Ice Barrier is big.
It is and it isn't because of the Kaboom. The Kaboom means that Magoho can just use Kaboom and a bomb is still just lethal without actually ever having to break the Ice Barrier.
It's big in the sense that it gives Magoho an opportunity to mess up
It's
here.
true. It is true.
Because his best play is to hero power and not attack the face. But Magoho's tempted because if Wrench Caliber attacks face twice, that's game over.
Right. This is definitely a tough spot, and this is a situation where Felkeine is in such a tough spot that he could just be bluffing. This could be a Flame War. This could be a Vaporize. It could be something that's just trying to dissuade Magoho from actually attacking the face.
Right. The thing is, the nice silver lining here is Magoho's at 43 life, and he has a
He's
brawl.
got a lot of time.
So if it is an Ice Barrier, he knows that it's not a counter spell, which gives him an opportunity to utilize that brawl later on. And for now, you have 5 weapon swings, all which can go face. I do want to try and get that damage in. Is there a way to split the difference? Can we perhaps use Super Collider instead and then hero power?
It's an option.
You can swing with the Super Collider into the 4-2, kill off the 5-5, and then hero power. So only 12 remain.
Go Dynamatic.
Okay, that also works.
Get a hero power.
Doesn't manage to kill anything.
Oh, look at Felkeine's expression. I think he just thrown a bomb.
Oh.
No.
No, he's just upset at what is happening in front of him.
Yeah.
Antonitis.
All right. Magic Trick.
Counter spell. Something to consider is whether or not Felkeine getting this Antonitis. I mean, it looks great. It's just, did he play it a little too fast and think about what he needs from Magic Trick first? The counter spell would be pretty useful.
Right.
If he set up on the board before the brawl.
So now, gonna fire off. Looks like
he doesn't know what secret it is.
Right.
And he has to,
It's not a counter spell. Now he knows.
Antonitis survives!
Ooh, dear.
He doesn't know if it's Mirror Entity either. He has no 100% confirmation on the secret. So if he plays Acolytes and Mirror Entity, he could end up giving more cards to the mage. But the more cards to the mage is a good thing.
Bigger chance for a bomb. Not a bomb! Oh, this is so tense. Look at Felkeine's face. He has to get through 36 life. He has Antonitis uncontested.
All right, first let's calm down and think, is there a way to set up 2-turn lethal here?
Calm down. No, I'm excited.
Sorry, not you. Stay excited. Do your job. Felkeine goes for the Power of Creation, finds 2 Sunwalkers.
Or Sunwalker can protect his face. He does have that Ice Barrier that he'd love to get attacked into. Splitting Image.
Splitting Image is good.
Oh, dear. Is Magoho in a situation where he just wants to wrench caliber just to increase the chances of bombs? I think he is.
Mega Devastator is really big too. Shuts off the fireballs.
It does.
Although now there's 2 secrets up. He knows one of them is not counterspell. That's all the confirmation that he has so far. Oh, and he knows that one of them is not Mirror Entity.
Wrench caliber, another bomb in the deck. Not splitting image either.
Magoho leans back, hoping there's 4 bombs in the deck. At least a quarter of a chance. Felkeine drops here.
What's the draw?
No bomb.
No.
That's a Caligos.
Oh,
Is that,
wow.
No, wait. He might have lethal for Pyroblast.
Right, there's 10 on board.
Third fireball. That's 18 damage.
That's enough. That's 28 damage.
Dude,
he has 10 on board. Fireball, fireball, fireball. That's just lethal damage.
That's gonna do it.
Oh my God! How did Felkeine win this game?
Fading bomb after bomb, weaving through traffic.
Wow, that was crazy. Just look at the relief on Felkeine's face. The crazy thing is that Wrench Caliber swing also is what gave him lethal with that fireball. Wrench Caliber attacking into the Sunwalker was the 4 damage he needed for that 3rd fireball to be lethal.
A lot of questions back and forth, the seesaw action putting us at the edge of the seat. Can you imagine what it's like to be sitting there?
Just look at that expression. Anyone could recognize what that is. That is just stress leaving the body.
Is it leaving the body,
Only
Kibler?
to recoup again and be wait. That was just game 2. You got your moment of relief, and then you realize, well, there's a lot more match to play here in the semifinals.
That's right. It's only 1 game apiece, but the best of 5 is now set to a best of 3. So the first player that can win 2 more games gonna wrap up this series. And remember, it's not just $30,000 on the line for winning the series. It's potentially a spot in Grandmasters. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, game number 3 of the first semifinal here in the Hearthstone Masters Tour in Seoul, South Korea. Game number 3 is upon us as we enter the first semifinals locked at 1 game apiece here. We do have 2 French players going at it. A Bomb Warrior versus the Highlander Mage. Which, I mean, is supposed to be good on paper for the Bomb Warrior, but has it been as smooth sailing as we come to expect? Has the bombs even really come into play here to stop the Reno effect? It's not really that. It's about the damage of whether or not you can rush down the mage from the Warrior's perspective.
Yeah, Magoho tried to serve up quite a few bombs, but he needed to get, Amazon Prime to get those bombs delivered faster.
Oh yeah, you need express shipping on that. You pay normal ground shipping at full cost, not going to be that great. And by the time he was able to set everything up, Magoho played himself. He took too much damage from him swinging his weapon into things, and also the fact that he played Dr. Boom and wasn't able to get that damage earlier. I still think there's room for Magoho to tidy up his play, even though he's made some really good decisions in his macro lines.
Yeah, he does recognize he is the beatdown deck. He needs to get the aggression going. And speaking of aggression, though, Felkeine turn to Zephyrus once again. Going to go with the Wild Growth to get things going faster.
Yeah, Wild Growth is just still a very powerful card if you're a deck that requires a lot of mana to use things, especially in the mid stages of the game. It's always been the case in Hearthstone, and it's just that we don't really see a lot of Druids capitalizing on it. And part of the reason why it's so good here is because Zephyrus only picks Wild Growth when you really need it.
Yeah, you don't want to draw your Wild Growth, turn 6. Zephyrus, when it's turn 6, he doesn't give you Wild Growth. He's like, you know what? You could do something else.
Magoho with an aggressive use of Warpath.
So this, he decides that he wants to get the Zephyrus at the board, doesn't want to allow Felkeine to use it for board control against the Clockwork Goblin, which actually makes some sense to me. He's able to give himself a little bit of armor as well and ensure that he has at least a little bit of an opportunity to get damage in with this Goblin. It's sort of an unconventional line, but thinking about it, I actually like it. Ooh, though, the rest of his draw is not cooperating with the aggression plan, though. Picks up Super Collider and a pair of Brawls. Those can be good at some point, but as we were saying before, it is on Magoho to end the game, and yeah, he's just going to send this face.
I'm looking at the deck list differences. Wow, I'm being drawn early, which is, I guess, okay. Magoho doesn't have the Blastmaster Boom in hand, so getting damage is maybe just as valuable. Right now, Felkeine just looks like he is going to curve out much better.
Conjurer's Calling is one of the options. Obviously, a very powerful card.
Yeah, and going first and getting the ramp over your opponent just puts you so much farther than what your opponent's going to be able to do. Wrench Caliber is going to walk straight into a news.
He's got a Super Collider to take out this board if he wants it, though.
Yes, I think that is good as well.
Yeah, the Wrench Caliber to take down the Twilight Drake here, perhaps holding the Super Collider for more threatening minions, but just clearing off the board has to be at least somewhat appealing. He's not playing against Cyclone Mage, which has so many giants, so many callings that you always really want Super Collider to kill multiple giants. It's much less likely that you just get giant callinged in this matchup. But there is the Siamat available for Felkeine here, or just you can go ahead and play Giant Ooze, or Ooze into Barista. All right.
I like this. I like this because it shuts off Magoho's ability to preemptively load his tempo.
Right.
If you play like Conjurer's Calling and you're trying to set up big board, the Super Collider will buy Magoho a lot of opportunity to develop into it.
Right.
And so now, as much as Magoho would like to play Dr. Boom Mad Genius, he's ceding a significant amount of tempo back over to Felkeine.
Yeah, and I like this choice of baristing the Ooze as well, because the recognition that, well, Wrench Caliber has a couple of major impacts, right? It both gives multiple bomb opportunities to shut down the possibility for Reno. It also is the best source for Magoho to get additional bombs just for the damage potential. Khadgar is pretty powerful.
Yes, it is very good. And if a giant sticks, he has Khadgar Conjurer's Calling on the following turn as well.
This
is why he set up that Super Collider shutdown.
Yep.
Apologies. So Brawl doesn't have a guarantee way to clear everything. If he had one more mana, he would be able to.
Right. Yep, we're all really, really hoping that one of these Grave Horrors doesn't survive. Right, Vestro's held up, and he waves to the crowd. Look what I did.
Big moment, but that all it does is allow Magoho to stay somewhat competitive in this game. I think it's about to get a lot worse before it gets better.
Alex Straza comes in. That expression is a lot less happy from Magoho there. So he can just clear off this board.
Yes.
Hero Power, Dynamatic. Well, actually, can't Hero Power, Dynamatic execute in the same turn. We can Hero Power, Dynamatic, Shield Slam, or just Shield Slam, Dynamatic.
Doesn't Dynamatic just clear everything? Because you get the
got
rush
anyway. Yeah. I'm leaving that out of my head right there.
Unless it, of course, distributes itself in a poor way. He wants to keep the 3-4 on board.
So
okay.
I think this is a sort of a recognition from Magoho that it is more important for him to have a way to pressure Felkeine here, with the fact that Felkeine has such a big hand, and Magoho really needs to actually be the aggressor in setting up to end the game.
Felkeine with an aggressive Wind Fury, but I guess since he's going to go for this Conjurer's Calling, it's good enough.
Well, that Blood Troll Sapper alongside the Guardian of Kings is actually a little bit awkward because it continues the pressure that Felkeine's able to get even against removal.
Right. The Sapper, I believe, it's card text, and forgive me if I'm wrong because it's not a very commonly card played, is when a friendly minion dies, you deal 2 damage to the opposing hero.
That is correct.
Okay. It's supposed to work with some kind of board flood strategy, but clearly we don't really see that many Warlock decks.
I mean, we do see the board flood strategy of getting multiple copies of the Sapper itself off of Khadgar Calling.
Sure.
Dog did it multiple times in Vegas.
You are correct.
Yeah, it looks like Magoho here is looking to Shield Slam into the Dynamatic to clear this off and not take damage from the Sapper ability. He's going to have to just trade here. He's so low in resources. That's the really big issue right now.
And I feel like that's sort of the symptom of him trying to okay, maybe I can flip the tempo back, but it's really not working out.
Power of Creation is another big board available. Going to go with Pocket Galaxy, though. He decides, okay, I'm not going to look for immediate board presence. I'm still planning on this long game. Ooh, okay.
2 more bombs. 3 more bombs?
4 more bombs.
4 more bombs.
He's got Elec, Goblin, Wrench Caliber. Just send it in. That shuts down the Reno.
You're right.
That shuts down the Reno until Felkeine dies, basically.
Yes, because there's an additional... One bomb was drawn, though. But you are right. Basically, Felkeine is dead.
Right, 4 bombs in the deck. He's going to take 15 before Reno's online from drawing bombs.
Very likely that it's dead. Felkeine does have to shut down with the second news, which Magoho is aware of. So there is a possibility.
Not a bomb.
Felkeine needs to find a way to stabilize and also get his life total at a reasonable amount.
There's that magic trick in the hand.
Well, he does have Khadgar and Ashman, so I think that's the biggest board development play that I see. And then what do we do with the rest of 7 mana here?
Well, if he magic tricks, he could possibly look for Conjurer's Calling. He could look for card draw to take advantage of a larger hand for the Astromancer and see what else he can possibly draw.
I am a little afraid of the possibility of drawing bombs unnecessarily.
It's true. It's true.
For Felkeine, he probably feels so far ahead that giving a chance for the bomb, even if it's a sub 1% chance, feels unnecessary.
Right. A pair of Death Web Spiders.
Right.
And now, he could use this Frostbolt here to ensure that there's no minions left on the board. Which I think is actually fairly crucial, particularly given the break points of life against the bombs. He's at 18 now, he'd draw 4. If the Goblins survive an attack face, that's only 3 bombs. Warpath, but those are 6 health spiders.
Yes, it is. However, if a 4-6 survives, you can hero power and go for Warpath clear on the following turn.
All right, fires off the Brawl. Brawl number 2. Both players pretty low on resources. Both players fairly low on life.
Oh, what?
That
The unkillable ooze!
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the return of the ooze. This is the second ooze. It runs in the family.
The ooze strikes
It's
back.
it's like Matt Murdock. You know, his father's a boxer. He's like, I have come to, you know, become Daredevil now.
Yeah, and now Felkeine's response is, I have to play things for tempo, because he's also out of resources too.
Right. The delivery drone in a resource battle is the best possible thing for Magoho here. Restless Mummy is a nice removal option.
Great draw.
Delivery drone.
Mega Devastator.
Omega lol.
Yes, and Mega Devastator Warpath is a full board clear, and you keep a 4/4 on board. Because the ooze is a 3/1, and after you kill the Reborn, it brings back as a 1 health minion. So you can Omega Devastator, trade into the 3. Actually, sorry, you have to trade the Omega Devastator first. So it's not a 4/4, it's a 4/1.
Right.
So in essence, it's actually not as great as I thought it would be.
It still clears everything off here, though.
Right, and now we enter the stage where Magoho actually has some breathing room to maybe wait for bombs. Oh, a curious moment to think if you should use Restless Mummy instead.
If he Restless Mummy's here, he possibly gets in attacks with this Omega Devastator. I think that's the thought process. Because if he does play the Warpath, then his minion only has 1 health, gets pinged off.
Felkeine looking for a big draw. Big draw delivered!
Oh dear! That's as big as it gets. Felkeine indeed required assistance, and assistance he got.
You can chuck a fireball to the face right now to preemptively get ahead of the blast shield. Magoho is going to go down to 8 life. He can only bounce up to 15.
9 to 16, but oh, 8 after the thing. You're right.
Ziliax.
With the Restless Mummy, he can actually clear, but then he's dead. He can't.
Yes, he doesn't have the shield slam. Or actually any way to really capitalize on this. I don't see any way, no permutation that will bail Magoho out
nothing. For Ziliax plus the hero power does keep him afloat, but he cannot actually remove Antonidas.
And Antonidas gets 2 more fireballs, a bomb gets drawn.
There's only 4, there's not even a running 5 bomb possibility here. Oh, there's Conjur's calling too.
So Felkeine can avoid the lifesteal with Polymorph.
Yeah, he can Polymorph. He can if he wants to, he can just Polymorph, attack the face. Conjur is calling his Antonidas. But he's just going for damage. This is not something that Magoho has any way to stop. Down to 6, 2 fireballs in hand, no blast shield in sight. That's it.
That's game 3 in the books. Felkeine takes a 2-1 lead. As oh wait, Magoho, does he have 3 bombs in the deck?
Oh, you're right. You're right. There is the possibility.
Very unlikely.
It is. There are 3 bombs and 14 cards. We're gonna give us a sweat.
Whoa, that's a bomb.
1 bomb. Did we call it too soon?
Yeah,
no, there's no running bombs, and that is it. The fist pump from Felkeine as he takes a 2-1 lead.
That's right. No Reno, no problem. Doesn't matter that it gets shut off. Highlander Mage still able to get over there as the early game dead draw from Magoho finally started catching up to him. Almost this entire tournament, Kibler, I've seen Magoho with his 1 Eternium Rover, 1 Town Crier.
Yep.
Somehow draw both of them in the opening hand almost every game I've seen him.
Very frequently have a Snip Snap to go with them.
Yes.
But yeah, that game he drew a bunch of removal when he needed to be the aggressor. He had the brawls to deal with the big boards that Felkeine was able to generate. But there's more where that came from when it comes to the mage.
That's right. So with that, we'll see if whether or not Felkeine can close out this series in 4 games as opposed to 5. And like we said, you can see how crucial it was to win game number 2, because if he was down 0-2, yes, he might be favored, but it just means that Magoho would have to have 1 Giga Nudge draw, and then it would have just been over. And that's what the scary part is when a best of 5, and the whole point of the best of 5 is to offset that variance.
Right. And yeah, now these players so close to elimination, so close to the finals.
Yes, and potential Grandmaster spot on the line, because if Felkeine wins here and Zim loses in the semifinals, he would be the best performing European player so far and would be first in line for a Grandmaster spot in the next season. So this is a big match here for Felkeine. Could not be happier with his position given that he's going up against Warrior and he has Mage, but Bomb Warrior is a little bit of a tricky beast, and Magoho is very volatile. His highest of highs are amazing. His lowest of lows have been kind of hard to watch on stage. What version of Magoho is going to show up here for game number 4?
What version of his deck, too? He's got a deck that can do it all, right?
Yes.
Just needs to do the right thing at the right time. He needs to be Bomb Warrior, not Control Warrior in this matchup. He's got a Clockwork Goblin to start things off, at least.
Yeah. Delivery man holds on to that. Felkeine keeps everything. Oh, sorry, throws away everything. Only wants to look for Pocket Galaxy here. Or maybe that Zephrys for the early wild growth. Dr. Boom Mad Genius in the opening here from Magoho, but you know, we've seen that he doesn't actually really need that nearly as much as he needs that early aggression. Magoho has switched to the tertiary deck. That Harrison Jones inclusion means that he's taking out Warpath, he's taking out Big Game Hunter, he's taking out Brawl, took out Super Collider and a Plague of Wrath.
Interesting. So I wonder if this is simply because he wants the extra Elic in his deck. That he's saying, okay, you know, I need to be as aggressive as I can. He's taking out some of his removal and puts in some minions, puts in another Elic.
I mean, look at what happened last game. A Warpath and 2 Brawls were stuck in his hand for the majority of the game. I think he just says, I want more proactive plays, and I think that ends up being reflected in his deck choice.
And speaking of proactive, that Twilight Drake is just out of range of the Mummy, and no way for Magoho to easily remove it and keep his pressure going.
I mean, he can keep his pressure going by having Restless Mummy just be played and not attack.
Yeah, but that's always scary against the possibility of Conjurer's Calling too, right? Because if this Twilight Drake takes a value trade and then turns into 2 new 4/4s, you're feeling pretty bad.
It's true. It's not that you have much of a choice, though. It seems like that Conjurer's Calling trade is going to happen regardless.
Well, I'm just saying, if you leave it on the board, right? If you do anything but take this out with Restless Mummy and your Goblin, that's
okay? So the play that you were thinking of was just having everything trade into the Twilight Drake.
I'm saying that is an option you have available if you're trying to play around Conjurer's Calling. And ooh, Felkeine, magic trick, got another trick up his sleeve with that Conjurer's Calling number 2.
Yeah, Conjurer's Calling number 2 seems pretty appetizing. I do think that there's a lot of merit in this counter spell as well, because if you're planning on building a big board, which, by the way, that Lifesteal Reborn minion is massive. Ooh. The crowd didn't react. I don't see the Koreans going, but I think that's huge.
I don't even know if they know what it does. It's a new card. that is a 4/2 Lifesteal Reborn.
Yeah, I've seen that card a lot in Quest Paladin.
Yeah.
That card is gigante. I know we're in Korea, we're not in the Americas, but I can't state how important that card is.
It's a big deal. This set of trades walks right into the second half of Conjurer's Calling or a ping or both.
Right.
You see sort of a sigh from Magoho here. Like, all right, I'll attack into that. I know it's not really that good, but
I just want a Conjurer's Calling again.
Yeah.
And maybe to the credit that you were talking about, maybe just a second Conjurer's Calling would have kept his train up. Vex Crow and another Reborn minion.
Ooh,
Bone Wraith is one of the best Reborn minions from the set.
Yeah, this is a tough board to remove. There's a Mega Assembly, but Restless Mummy only kills the front half of this.
Yes.
Shield Block, Shield Slam can take out one of these. The Vex Crow's got to be scary. You know that there's a spell in hand off of the magic trick. You know there's a cheap spell. There's an Elic.
Yeah, I don't think the Bone Wraith is what's scary here.
No. The Vex Crow can give Felkeine a really big board. And frankly, with the removal of a Warpath, a Brawl, and a Plague of Wrath, Felkeine going wide is actually extremely scary for Magoho. He doesn't have that many mass removal effects anymore.
Wow, 2 shield blocks.
If Felkeine
Ooh, I don't know about that one. Although, it's not like Felkeine has a big punish.
Well, Counterspell finds a Mad Bomber. Just keeps the pressure up with the Counterspell on deck.
This is reasonable pressure, and it's about to get worse. Magoho nods. Picks up the Zilliax. Somewhat implying that he's happy to see the Zilliax. I guess it gives him some opportunity to rebound if the game starts to get out of hand. But I'm already looking at the two hands here, Kibler, and I have a hard time imagining Magoho handling the powerhouse.
Right,
We're about to get to the cleanup part of the lineup.
Yeah, there's just so many big, powerful minions in hand for Felkeine here.
The leadoff hitters got on base, Kibler, and that's like a scary thing because some of the big, heavy hitters are about to come out here.
One thing that's particularly scary to me about this is that Magoho has already used both of his shield blocks. He's now playing Dr. Boom. This shield slam in hand is getting pretty stranded. You know, he may just want to pull the trigger on it right now to at least test for a counterspell if he's going to brawl here.
So I think this is a very relatable experience. Oh man, there's a counterspell.
If he just pulls the trigger on brawl, he is essentially dead.
Yes, if he brawls here, Magoho is walking directly into a trap, and he loses on the spot.
He can play Omega Assembly to test too. This is the best test that doesn't give away a key removal resource. But frankly, Omega Assembly is one of the things that just makes being Dr. Boom powerful. Okay, the Vex Crow lives. He can shield slam it. He can get rid of it if he wants. There's not really more ways to make use of shield slam. This is the best it's going to be. Those shield blocks are gone.
I see that. However, Felkeine hasn't really been capitalizing on the spells. So I think I would have also been okay squeezing out hero power value.
Oh, God. Power of creation. Magoho has no more brawls. He's playing his tertiary deck. There's no brawl left in his deck. He's already played his only one.
Yeah, this is his anti-control warrior deck list, and it is going horribly for Magoho this game. He does not have the curve, and I mean, that's kind of a symptom of not having the early game drops. He power loaded on late game stuff, and that's not going to match up to the toe-to-toe value of the Mage. Mage isn't even doing anything particularly egregious. It's just playing stuff on curve, and Magoho can't answer it.
And I do feel like the plan here for Magoho was, okay, I want to try and give myself this extra Elec. I want to give myself this Cairn, right? The ability to actually apply pressure. But he's drawing the bad half, right? He's drawing this Harrison Jones. He's drawing Cairn when he's way behind, and he really loved that brawl that he took out of his deck.
I mean, he's ill-prepared. He front-loaded his primary deck to be the anti-mage deck, and now Alex Straza hits the board.
And this is 9 damage, putting Magoho down to just 7 life. Devastator can do a little bit of cleanup with the Zilliax, though.
Just a little bit of cleanup, though.
But there's a Voodoo Doll in the hand.
Yep, Voodoo Doll.
There's just a lot of tools for Felkeine here that will allow him to keep the pressure on. Does gain 7 life here. Back up to 14. But what's the life getting him? What is living longer really getting him to when he doesn't have removal left in his deck? This is a deck that only has that one Devastator. He used Omega Assembly to break the counterspell. He's drawing into a incredible dearth of actual removal options. What's he going to draw next? Archivist Elysiana? That's not going to cut it. Warpath. Warpath doesn't kill Reno.
He can't do anything. This board looks impregnable at this point.
It's a Spellbender for the secrets.
Okay. So if he Warpaths 5 times, there's going to be a 4-1 left on the board, but he is dead to a lot of things off of Caligos.
And there's Caligos in the hand. There's Antonidas in the hand. Both shield blocks are gone. Zilliax is gone. Magoho can't kill everything. He doesn't have the ability to clear off this board. He's going to be dead to any fireball that ever comes off that Antonidas. Even if Caligos does not find burn to end the game right now, Caligos can just find a cheap spell to go with Antonidas to give Felkeine a fireball for later, and that fireball is going to be enough to end the game because this 9 life is all that Magoho has to work with.
That's right. Caligos can look for the lethal. Pretty decent chance for something like that.
Conjur's Kong close.
Sure. Yeah, Conjur's Calling on Reno, which is at a 4-1.
Or just Conjur's Calling on Calicos. Get yourself a pair of 10 drops.
Yeah, or just kill him now with Reckless Rockets here.
Magoho draws a Mega Assembly. That can do something. Devastator.
Oh.
But I don't think it's enough still.
It might be enough to barely stay alive. If you make a Devastators and trades and play Spring Rocket, I think he might be able to piece it together.
He can actually take off, I believe, this entire board right now. Devastator, Spring Rocket,
yes.
Hero Power. No, he might be a little bit short.
Spring Rocket hits the 4-2. Then you trade in.
This is he can exactly clear everything. But again, there's Antonidas into a spell. Magoho's at 5. Even clearing this board is just delaying the inevitable from Felkeine.
Yeah, Felkeine can almost feel the finals birth. Can almost feel himself taking the lead for the Grandmaster spot.
Scoundrel could do it right now too.
I think one of the hands worth two in the bush.
Antonidas got the job done last game. Antonidas looking to get the job done now. Just that one fireball. We don't even need these minions. Snip Snap is the draw.
Magoho with a last-ditch effort. Echonium Rover. I mean, it's useful. It's nothing amazing. Magoho with the stretch. He's done well to get to the top 4. A round of applause for Felkeine.
I can't read that. It's too bright. Sending a message to the crowd, and there it is, the concession, as Magoho gives the moment to Felkeine, who is advancing to the finals.
$50,000 guaranteed and jumps into first place for the European region, a player that's been a mainstay in competitive Hearthstone from the shadows, as our French player has earned a berth in the grand finale to await the winner of Liss versus Dim.
And it's really interesting, the talk of the tournament, the struggle of the mages throughout the Swiss rounds. There were so many mages in this tournament. Only a few of them made it through to the top 8. 2 of them are still left. One is in the finals, one is going to be fighting to be there.
Yeah, and he did get a little bit fortunate with the bracket setup there because he played against other mage in the top 8, and then he played against 2 warriors. So it does seem to line up really nicely.
The story of how this top 8 broke down is kind of the story of the format in a way, with the mages killing the warriors who are preying on the anti-mages. Right? We saw the priests, we saw the rogues falling to the warriors, right? And now we see the mages like, okay, well, the warriors left. I guess I'll kill them and I'll go to the finals. Right, or beat each other up. Like the mages kind of brawling to see only one mage survive. So we'll see if the hunter or another mage is going to be able to take it, although I'm kind of siding with the hunter there because Liss, as the only non-European, as the only non-Frenchman that's here in the competition, can he play the upset? And I mean, it has pretty big implications too. Like we said, China has never been able to get that big singles win in Hearthstone. They've done well on the team for HGG. They've been able to do well in team leagues over in China. Can they carry that success over to here finally? Yeah, we're going to be seeing that in our very next match. And but for now, it is Felkeine who's advancing to the finals. And
all right.
Can't wait to see it. With that, the second semifinal has been set. Who's going to join Felkeine in the grand finals here? Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to have more action here live from Seoul, South Korea.